Imagine a flower with no stem, no leaves, no roots drinking from the soil, just five enormous blood-red petals pushing up through the forest floor, ringed with white warts, and a surface so tough and leathery it barely looks like a plant at all. It looks, honestly, like something died here. And that's almost exactly the point. Welcome to Science Curiosity, somewhere in the rainforests of Borneo and Sumatra. A bloom is opening right now that most people will never see in their lifetime. It lasts 5 to 7 days. Then it collapses into a black, rotting pile, as if it was never there. Because coming off those enormous petals is a smell so precisely, so catastrophically foul, that your brain has just one immediate interpretation: something is dead nearby. And yet, this is the world's largest individual flower. So here's the question. Why would the most spectacular flower on the planet, a flower that waited years to bloom, that grows to a full meter across, why would it spend that moment smelling like a corpse? Let's get into it. The flower is called Rafflesia arnoldii. Its common name, the corpse flower, is not a metaphor. It is a straightforward description. The smell comes from a cocktail of volatile compounds that closely mimic the odor of decaying animal flesh. Not vaguely, specifically the kind of smell that makes your stomach flip before your brain has even processed what's happening. What makes Rafflesia genuinely unlike almost any other plant on Earth is what it doesn't have. No leaves, no roots, no stem. For years at a stretch, it doesn't visibly exist at all. It lives entirely hidden as a web of thread-like filaments called haustoria, woven through the tissues of a host vine, a tetrastigma, a member of the grape family. Rafflesia is a hollow parasite. It steals everything: nutrients, water, the raw materials for growth, all drawn silently from the vine it has invaded. After months, sometimes years of that invisible life, a small cabbage-like bud finally pushes through the vine's outer bark. It swells slowly to 43 centimeters before it opens. The bloom that follows can reach 1 full meter across. Thick, waxy, almost meaty. The reddish-brown color, the white surface blisters, the fleshy appearance, all of it converging on one deliberate illusion. It wants insects to think they're looking at a dead animal. And here's where the story takes a turn. The obvious explanation is almost right. Yes, the smell attracts carrion flies and beetles, insects that lay their eggs in decaying matter. They come looking, crawl inside the central cavity, find nothing. No meat. No place to lay eggs. But by the time they've figured that out, pollen has already been deposited onto their bodies. They leave, confused and empty-handed, carrying exactly what the flower needed them to carry. Rafflesia don't self-pollinate. For a seed to form, a fly dusted with pollen from a male flower must stumble into a female flower that happens to be open at the same time, in the same forest, potentially hundreds of meters away. Each bloom lasts less than a week. They occur only once every few years at any given location. Insects that visit the Rafflesia help pollinating the flower by carrying their pollen. Rafflesia arnoldii is now endangered. The forests of Borneo and Sumatra are shrinking, and with them the tetrastigma vines it cannot survive without. It cannot be cultivated. It cannot be transplanted. It is so completely fused to its specific host, in its specific forest, that removing it from that context is simply removing it from existence. Every bloom happening right now, hidden somewhere in a rainforest, is almost a miracle. This plant gave up everything a normal plant needs: leaves, roots, a stem, and bet its whole existence on one smell and one confused fly. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And share it with someone who'd love a good wait. Really? Moment.